YAAS down a further 41.46%. This is Friday, the 5th of September. Pre market session. Intraday low 0.1536. Let's see. We'll see what's going on here. How aggressive the market is and who's buying or how they are trading it. It doesn't look like much is going on. Being a penny stock on the under 20 cents, you should expect that a lot will be going on. But so far, it doesn't mean a lot hasn't gone on. Okay, we have here saying over the last 4 hours, within the last 4 hours, yeah, we have 311,000 shares so far. But in any case, this is the 4 hour chart. This is where it's happening. On it hasn't not reflected on its daily chart. Here it's saying lower prices are expected to keep playing out up till midday today when it might attempt to bounce. But yeah, a bounce may happen, but it may not hold, and then the decline may continue from Monday's rather. Yeah, the decline may by Monday, the close of Monday's trading session, it would have started to decline and may remain that the weakness may remain in place up to Wednesday the 10th. After that, a bounce may occur visibly, but it may have visibly bounced by Friday the 12th. You can't rely on that. This is it's extrapolating what may happen over the next, if you like, over the next 120 hours. That's a long time to come from today. That's a long time to come. No guarantee that that will be the case. Projections are saying 0.2983, 0.3058, 0.3186, 0.8661. So I failed to mention this is one stock you should be careful about. Don't get involved. Don't be tempted to get involved. If you unless you know how to do how you know how to unless you know how to play it. This is one of those stocks. It has its incorporation in a certain jurisdiction, and manipulators target them. You must have heard about what's going on with some of these stocks. So just be careful. This deep is don't be tempted. Don't be tempted. If you're tempted, be very much aware of what you're getting into. Or if you're tempted and you're getting involved, be very much careful. As a matter of fact, yesterday it was down 11.55%. So that further lends to that caution. It lends more caution to the same. It lends more credence to the caution to my caution now. It's down yesterday, down again this pre-market session. It looks really tempting, but manipulators are here. You know, the stock may continue to print lower prices, and even though the extrapolation is saying that the bounce will occur, it may not occur. Um, okay, so the company got a notification from Nasdaq about a minimum bid price, so they are going to do a reverse split pretty soon, because that is usually how they come out of the issue. And you can see this also tells you that manipulators have been, are targeting them. That's what they've been doing. So when they target them, they are forced to, you know, do a reverse split. And then the reverse split, tightens the float, obviously, and then volatility may begin to occur. So it still fits back into the manipulation, because the manipulators will come back again. If a low float is highly volatile, pump and dump, and short squeezes and highly volatile. Fascinating to watch. Fascinating to watch and probably invest in or trade in. But it is infinitely high risk. Okay, so let's see now. Extrapolations is saying severely bearish, no doubt about that. Yeah, all the indicators are severely bearish, nothing positive at all here. On the daily chart, we have yeah, the stock has been consolidating, even though it's not, even though it's been, yeah, with a bias to the downside. I have to point out here. the bias to the downside, and projections are saying 0.5501, 0.6472, 0.7071. Yeah, a lot of other ambitious projections here. 5.66. We can't rely on that. It did indeed at some point attempt to test those highs. You can see what happened here. People were lured into giving a false hope. Pumped up gradually, and this wasn't a pump. It was just gradually inching up, and then suddenly spiked. At this sort of levels. Oh my goodness, what why did I, or where was I? And then maybe all along, while it's just creeping up gradually, you do your own research and find out about the stock, and then you get involved, and um, by the time it spikes and you probably didn't take profits, you're gone. So yeah, that's you need to be careful about YAAX, YAAS. It's not a buy. It's not an investment. It's not anything. Just a stock to watch. It's an instrument for the company to. It's a financial instrument for the company, but not very safe for regular investors and traders. You know, indeed, but people may invest in it. Even big corporations may big investing houses may invest in it. There are something things that may come out of investing in it or holding them, even though they may not be profitable. But at the same time, there could also be ways they could also hold the stock without running into losses. So, for instance, if this stock is hard to borrow, for instance, and you're holding the stock, you'll be and people are actively borrowing it, then you might be in for something. Some of the stocks can have as much as 260% borrow rate. So if you can imagine if you're holding a sizable chunk of it, you might be in it, you might be in it for some of that interest payments, interest funds. So there could be a lot of parties that may be taking advantage of this as well. So I'm thinking now this could also be a whole scheme on its own altogether. Manipulating the stock into becoming a low float and a short squeeze candidate, and the holders who don't really have anything to lose. I'm not, this is hypothetical. Holders who don't have anything to lose, but they hold the stock. Short sellers, when they want to borrow the stock, they will be paying interest as high as up to 360%. That money, this in terms of that money, this is not theoretical. This is not hypothetical. It's what happens. It's the truth. If you own stocks that are heavily shorted, maybe it's stocks like a Tesla, Nvidia, and other stuff. If you notice your statements, you may see incomes coming in from them. So this is how it comes, and this income may not be stated as interest, or yeah, it may be stated as interest, but yeah, it may be stated as interest or dividend. One, I don't think maybe it will be stated as a dividend. I've seen them myself, so yeah, so this could be a residual, or yeah, a residual or another part of the whole scheme, to get money, get paid holding it, amongst other things. So the manipulation side, different manipulators try to make money, and probably to the benefit of those who are holding. I'm not accusing anybody or anything like that, but I'm only saying that if it eventually gets into that phase where high short interests begins to, I mean, high borrow rates begin to occur as a result of low floats and stuff like that, then you can see that holders of the stock will be benefiting. But to how much, to what extent, I really can't say for sure. You know, so if, for instance, you are trying to, if for instance, it's they do a reverse split, and I'm as it is now, I think it may have a low float. I think it may have. I'm not exactly sure. We could try and find out what the float is. Okay. 24 million shares. Okay, float 3.88 million. So it's actually low as well. It could also get lower. It could also get lower. It could get this is almost 4 million. Yeah. So as it is now, if they do a reverse split and make it a reverse split to make it $1.6, for instance, or even um, let's say let's see try to reverse split so that it can the value may get to, let's say, um, let's just say hypothetically $16. $16 will now mean that we are going to have you will have let's see, the float will reduce by it will come down to 38,000 or thereabouts if you make it $16. But okay, let's just say I think $16 is very high. Let's just say you do a reverse split to make it $8, for instance. Okay, let's just stick with it. 16,000. You now have 16. You have that 8,000 shares outstanding, ultra low float. Sub low float. But they also have shares outstanding. They could sell more shares, and then they when they sell more shares, from that, maybe as a result of that, if that's really possible, if there's anything that can come out of it, then you have it increases from that 8,000 to maybe a couple of millions. So yeah, they could still be benefiting from, holders may still be benefiting from short squeeze or how to borrow fees and all that stuff. So as it is right now, holders are most certainly benefiting from, maybe benefiting from high borrow fees, but I don't know. I can't say. This is hypothetical. They may be. I don't know what the borrow rate is, and I don't know what short interest is. But what I'm only saying, all of these are just hypothetical. All of these are hypothetical. So I have not accused anybody of doing anything. I'm only stating the obvious. This is pretty much the obvious. So if you hold shares of even bigger companies, well-known companies, you make money, not a lot, not a huge amount of money, but if you invest a lot in them, you'll be making money from, not just from the gain, the added value. You also make interests. You make money from interests, and that is also the case with any stock like even YAAS, and indeed, so. But I'm also trying to say that there may be incentives in um, probably there might be, rather, these manipulations can feed into the interest incomes. It can feed into them, just as I've stated. So yeah. So one more time, this is most certainly not an investment grade stock or trading grade stock. Yeah, there might be, surely there's money to be made from trading it if you know how to do so, if you're brave enough to suffer losses. So let's see how things go, and I'll continue to update you. Thank you very much for watching this video.